You think you're just swiping for fun. But what if the person behind that perfect smile isn't who they say they are? Stay with me till the end. And if you've ever used a dating app, you might want to double-check who you're talking to after this one. Story 1. Tinder Catfish Nightmare. I met her on Tinder last fall. Her name was Allison. Pretty, smart, and funny, the kind of match that feels too good to be true. We talked for weeks. She said she lived one town over, had a cat named Luna, and loved horror movies. Everything felt so natural, until it didn't. Our first red flag came the night we planned to meet. She suddenly canceled, saying her car broke down. Then, 2 nights later, she called me crying, saying someone had been stalking her. I felt bad for her. Maybe she just needed someone to talk to. Over the next few days, she told me things no stranger should know. She described my house, the color of my front door, the tree in my yard, the fact that my mailbox leaned slightly to the left. I froze. I never gave her my address. When I asked how she knew, she brushed it off. "Oh, I probably saw it in one of your pictures," she said. But I had checked, none of my photos showed my house. That night, I couldn't sleep. Around 2 a.m., my phone buzzed. It was a Snapchat notification from Allison. It was a picture of my driveway, taken that night. My heart dropped. I ran to the window, but there was no one outside, just the quiet hum of crickets and the faint glow of a streetlight. I called her number, but it went straight to voicemail. Then, a message appeared. "You shouldn't have ignored me." I didn't even realize I had blocked her the day before, just to take a break from the constant messages. The next morning, I went to the police. They said they'd check into it, but without proof. There wasn't much they could do. Still, I changed my locks, installed cameras, and deleted Tinder. A week later, one of my security cameras picked up movement around 3 a.m., a figure standing in my driveway just watching my front door. The video was blurry, but the outline, it looked like a woman with long, dark hair, the same shape as Allison's profile picture. When I showed it to the police, they took it more seriously. They traced the number she used, and that's when things got weirder. The name registered to that number wasn't Allison. It belonged to a woman who had gone missing 6 months earlier in another state. They never found her, and the account vanished from Tinder the next day. Now, sometimes, when I'm scrolling late at night, I still get random matches that look just like her, same smile, same eyes, and every time, I wonder, is it just a coincidence, or did she ever really leave? If that story gave you chills, make sure you hit subscribe and stay till the end. The next one's even worse. Story 2. First Date Stalker. I met him on Hinge. His name was Ryan. Tall, clean-cut, charming, the kind of guy you think you can trust immediately. We texted for a week before deciding to meet at a small coffee shop downtown. The first date seemed normal. We ordered drinks, laughed at the barista's bad jokes, and even shared a slice of pie. Nothing about him felt off until I left. I waved goodbye outside the cafe, and that's when I saw it. A black car parked across the street, engine running. At first, I thought it was coincidence, but when I walked toward my car, the same car followed me slowly. I brushed it off as paranoia. Maybe it was just traffic. Maybe I was imagining it. That night, I got a text from Ryan. "Had a great time. Can't wait to see you again." Nothing weird there. But then, a second text came. "I know when you got home. Did you make it safely?" I froze. I hadn't shared my address with him, or my route. I blocked him. The next day, I got another text from a different number. "Don't ignore me. I can see you." Panic hit. I changed my number, but texts still came. Sometimes from blocked numbers, sometimes from friends' phones that had been hacked. Each message referenced my exact location, sometimes even the street I was walking on. A week later, I was walking to the grocery store. I noticed a man on the corner, watching, tall, dark hair, familiar smile. It was Ryan. I tried to cross the street. He followed. I ran. He didn't chase, just walked calmly, always keeping me in sight. I made it home and called the police. They said to get inside, lock doors, and document everything. But the harassment didn't stop. He'd show up outside my work, leave notes on my car. Once, a package arrived at my apartment, inside a Polaroid of me sleeping. I moved out immediately, changed cities, phone numbers, emails, but sometimes, when I swipe through dating apps, I see his face, a different name, same eyes, same smile. And every time, that chilling thought comes back, he's still out there, always watching, always knowing more than he should. If this one gave you chills, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. The next story takes us deeper into the horrors of online dating. Story 3. Hinge Horror. I met Claire on Hinge. Her profile was perfect witty bio, travel photos, the works. We matched, exchanged messages for a few days, and decided to meet at a small downtown bar. At first, everything was normal. She was charming, funny, and seemed genuinely interested. But as the night went on, little things started to feel off. She knew things about me I hadn't shared, not just hobbies or work details, but mundane things, my favorite coffee spot, the exact route I take to work, even the brand of my headphones. I joked about it at first, saying maybe she had checked my social media. She smiled, but there was something in her eyes, a cold precision that didn't feel natural. After the date, she suggested walking me to my car. I hesitated, but didn't want to seem rude. Halfway there, I noticed someone across the street. A man, tall, dark coat, watching. Claire waved at him casually. "Who's that?" I asked. "Oh, just a friend," she said, but her tone didn't sound reassuring. The next day, I got a message on Hinge. "I had a great time last night. Let's see each other again soon." Then another. "I know you live alone. Don't worry. I'm careful." I froze. I had never told her I lived alone, or my exact address. Over the next few days, things escalated. I started noticing her everywhere at the coffee shop I frequent, at the grocery store, sometimes even near my office, always observing, always smiling. One evening, I came home to find my apartment door slightly ajar. No signs of forced entry. Nothing was missing, but a single Polaroid lay on my kitchen counter, me, sitting on my couch, watching TV. The camera angle was impossible. No one could have taken that picture without being inside. I called the police, reported everything, and blocked her on Hinge. I also changed locks and installed security cameras, but it didn't matter. 3 nights later, my front door camera captured her standing there at 2:33 a.m. No one else was around. She didn't move, just stared at the camera. I called the police immediately. They said she wasn't registered anywhere, no record, no previous complaints. It was like she existed online and nowhere else. I moved cities, changed phones, deleted all social media, deleted Hinge. Weeks later, I got an email. No sender. Subject line, "Did you miss me?" inside a GIF of my new apartment building, taken from the street. Ever since then, I can't swipe on any dating app without thinking someone could be watching, tracking, waiting, and you wouldn't even know until it's too late. If you're still with me, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. The next story. Story 4. Bumble Blackmail is about a dating app nightmare that goes far beyond stalking. I thought dating apps were harmless. Swipe, match, chat, maybe meet someone. It seemed simple, until I met Derek on Bumble. He was funny, confident, and seemed genuinely interested. We messaged for a couple of weeks before deciding to meet at a casual dinner spot. At first, it was a typical first date. Laughs, small talk, mild flirting, nothing unusual. But the night ended differently than expected. After dinner, he walked me to my car. Nothing alarming until I noticed him staring at my license plate. He smiled and said, "It's easy to find someone when you know where to start." I laughed nervously, but the tone in his voice didn't match the words. Something felt off. The next day, I got a text. "Had fun last night. Hope you're thinking of me." That wasn't unusual, but the second message made my stomach drop. "I know where you live, and I know who you work with. Don't disappoint me." I froze. I had never given him my address or workplace. He knew. I blocked him immediately, thought that would be the end. It wasn't. 3 days later, I received an anonymous email. Inside screenshots of my Bumble profile, my messages, and pictures of me taken from my own apartment window, and a single line of text. "Keep talking to me, or everyone you know sees this." Panic set in. I didn't know what to do. I called the police, but the screenshots were taken from my own phone and computer. He had hacked me somehow. I went to a friend's apartment that night, changed devices, set up new passwords, deleted Bumble. The messages kept coming, through email, through phone numbers I didn't recognize, threats escalating. "Meet me tonight, or everyone sees everything." I didn't answer. I didn't go anywhere. The night after, I got a knock on my door. No one was there. Just a black envelope slid under the frame. Inside, a single Polaroid, me sleeping. And a note. "Last chance." I realized then that Derek wasn't just a man. He was a shadow online. A predator who used dating apps as a weapon. Someone who could turn something meant to be fun into a nightmare you can't escape. I moved, changed phones, never used any dating app again. But even now, months later, I get a chill whenever I see someone's profile picture on Bumble. That smile, that same calculating look. And I know, somewhere, he's still out there. If that story gave you chills, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. The next one, Story 5, Coffee Shop Creep, takes a terrifying twist into in-person encounters after online matches. I met Tom on a dating app. He seemed harmless funny, a little shy, liked indie music. We decided to meet for coffee one Saturday afternoon. At first, everything was normal. We ordered drinks, sat by the window, and chatted about movies, books, and music. But as the date went on, I started noticing subtle things. He kept glancing at the doors, the other patrons, the baristas, like he was tracking something. When I asked if he was okay, he just smiled nervously. "I'm fine, just aware." It didn't feel like a normal smile. Something about the way he held eye contact made my skin crawl. After the coffee, he offered to walk me to my car. I hesitated, but didn't want to be rude. Halfway there, he asked if he could see my phone. "Just for a second, I want to show you something." I said no, and that's when I noticed he knew exactly where I parked. Not just the lot, but the exact spot, my car make, and the color. I didn't say anything. I got in my car and drove off as quickly as I could. The next day, I got a text from an unknown number. "Nice car. I liked watching you leave yesterday." I froze. The number wasn't his dating app number. It was new, untraceable. Over the next few days, the messages escalated. "I know your schedule. I saw you at the coffee shop again. Why did you ignore me? I tried blocking numbers, changing my routine, even taking different routes to work. It didn't matter. He was always there. One evening, I went back to the coffee shop, thinking maybe I imagined it. I sat by the window with a friend, and there he was sitting at the same table as before, watching us from across the room, smiling. I left immediately, but that night, my front door had a sticky note. You looked beautiful today. I'll see you tomorrow. I called the police. They said without physical harm, there wasn't much they could do, but I didn't need physical harm to be terrified. I moved apartments, changed my phone number, deleted the dating apps. Months later, my friend texted me a photo she was at the same coffee shop, and in the background, there was a man sitting alone at a table, tall, dark coat, familiar smile. I knew immediately it was him. He'd found her, watching, waiting. Since then, I never go to public coffee shops alone, and I make sure my windows and doors are locked. The lesson online dating isn't just about profiles and matches. Sometimes, it's a doorway for someone who doesn't want a date, but wants to know everything about you and watch you without you ever knowing. If this one sent chills down your spine, subscribe and hit the bell. Next, Story 6. Online dating scam dives into the financial and psychological terror of being targeted online. I thought I was careful, really careful. I never shared personal details online, never sent money, never clicked strange links. But then I met Sophie on a dating app. She was beautiful, smart, and attentive. Within days, she had me hooked. Texts, video calls, late-night chats, everything felt so real. One evening, she told me her mother was in the hospital overseas. She needed money for an emergency surgery. Her voice cracked. I wanted to help. I transferred a small amount, just a few $100s. She thanked me endlessly, said she'd pay me back as soon as possible. The next day, another message. They need more. Please, can you help? It started small, then escalated. Each time, it was urgent hospital bills, travel costs, legal fees. I was hooked, worried, desperate to help someone I barely knew. Then came the threats. If you don't send this, she might not make it, and it will be your fault. Panic set in. I blocked her number, deleted the app, changed my email. Nothing worked. Within a week, my accounts were hacked. Emails, bank accounts, even personal photos. Some photos were manipulated and sent to my contacts with a note. He won't help. Maybe you should warn everyone. I tried going to the police, but it was complicated, all digital, all overseas servers, all fake identities. The psychological toll was worse than the financial. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't trust anyone online. Every time my phone buzzed, my heart jumped. Months later, I received an email from a new account. You can never leave us behind. We're always watching. The lesson online dating can be fun, but sometimes, behind the smile and charm, someone's waiting to manipulate, scam, and terrify you without ever meeting you in person. If this story made your skin crawl, subscribe and turn on notifications. Next up, Story 7, Dinner Date Disaster, shows just how quickly a normal night out can turn into a nightmare. I met Marcus on a dating app. He seemed charming, polite, and confident, the kind of guy who makes you feel safe immediately. We agreed to meet at a nice Italian restaurant downtown. The date started perfectly. Candles, soft music, laughter over shared appetizers. I thought maybe this time, online dating actually worked. But halfway through dinner, things started feeling off. Marcus kept glancing around the restaurant, not people watching something else. When I asked if he was okay, he said, "I just have to keep an eye out." At first, I laughed it off, but then the waiter dropped a folded piece of paper. Marcus picked it up before I could, and his smile went stiff. The paper had a message written in red ink. "She's mine." My heart stopped. I tried to laugh it off, but Marcus's demeanor changed. He became tense, nervous. Then he whispered, "I don't know who sent this, but we have to leave now." We hurried out, and that's when I noticed a man sitting in the corner booth, staring directly at me, not looking away, not distracted, just watching. As we exited, he followed, not aggressively, just keeping pace. I realized quickly that he knew exactly where I lived. Marcus called a friend, pretending to need directions, but I could feel the danger in his voice. We split up once we were safe. He drove one way. I ran home. The next morning, I received a text from an unknown number. "Nice restaurant choice. Let's meet again soon." It had my full name, my apartment number, and even a photo of me walking in from the street. I blocked the number, called the police, and installed security cameras, but the sense of being watched never went away. Weeks later, a neighbor called. She had seen a man loitering near my apartment, writing something on a piece of paper. When she approached, he vanished. The reality hit me. Dating apps can lure you into normal, everyday places, coffee shops, restaurants, parks, and turn them into hunting grounds. I quit all apps, deleted profiles, changed routines. But sometimes, late at night, I still think about that man in the booth, watching, waiting, and I realize that online dating isn't just a risk for strangers sometimes. It's a risk for your life. If that story made your skin crawl, subscribe and turn on notifications. Next, Story 8, Final Story, wraps up this series with a chilling conclusion that will make you think twice before swiping again. I thought I had learned my lesson. Deleted dating apps, changed my routines, locked doors and windows, but curiosity, or maybe arrogance, brought me back online. That's when I met Evelyn. Her profile was sparse, almost minimal. No pictures, just a single line. "Let's play a game." Intrigued, I swiped right. She matched instantly. At first, it was innocent. Messages, small talk, teasing riddles she would send me. But the riddles began to include details about me, where I shopped, what coffee I drank, even the color of my curtains. I laughed nervously. A coincidence, I told myself, until the night she sent the first photo. It was me, taken through my window, from the street. I froze. A second message followed. "You didn't lock your back door." Panic hit. I checked, locked, all windows secure. But then my phone buzzed again. "You can't hide from me." I ran to my neighbor, told her everything. We checked the perimeter. Nothing. No footprints. No signs of forced entry. And yet, I felt eyes on me, watching, waiting. Over the next few nights, Evelyn's messages escalated. "I'm closer than you think. I saw you leave work today. Don't pretend I didn't. I went to the police, showed them screenshots, tried to trace the IPs. Nothing. She didn't exist online or anywhere else." One night, my doorbell rang. No one outside. But taped to my doormat was a card. "Game over soon." I finally realized she wasn't just another catfish, stalker, or scammer. Evelyn was something else, something patient, something that thrived on fear. I moved, changed phone numbers, emails, everything, deleted all social media permanently, and yet, weeks later, a single message appeared on a new, anonymous account. "We can always start again." Since then, I haven't swiped, haven't matched, haven't trusted. Online dating isn't just risky. Sometimes it's a trap one you can't escape, no matter how far you run. And the truth, I still wonder if she's out there, waiting for the next profile to swipe, the next life to invade. Online dating is a world of possibilities and a world of dangers. Every story tonight reminds us of one simple truth. Behind the friendly messages, charming profiles, and cute photos, there can be someone who's not who they claim to be. A stalker, a scammer, a predator who knows too much, watches too closely, and waits too patiently. These are the stories of people like you and me, people searching for love or companionship, only to discover that the digital world can be as frightening as the shadows in a dark alley. So the next time you swipe right, think twice. Check your surroundings. Watch for signs. Trust your instincts. If you enjoyed these tales and want to hear more real-life horror stories, subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay vigilant. Because the next story you read online, the next profile you swipe, might not be a story at all. It might be someone already watching. Sleep tight, and remember, not everyone online is who they say they are.